Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, just about 11:15 in Honolulu, 5:15 in New York. It is Thursday, July 21st, 2016, and this is the Daily Report for Gold and Silver. What a day we are witnessing in the market, with an apparent turnaround in the precious metals moving sharply to the upside, equities moving down on the day. First to gold, 1331.20. That's COMEX, of course, close up almost $12 on the day. The low 1310, and that is a key number. That and 1315, we'll talk about that in a second. The high 1334, closing off by about $3 off the high at 1331. Silver up about 2% on the day. Gold up just under 1%, 1975, low 22, and the high on the day 87.9. Call it 1988. So traders, what can we make of today's pretty strong upside move? As I said, up roughly $12 on the day. Well, on a technical basis, we are about 1 day away from actually issuing a buy signal. The reason we're not going to issue a buy signal yet is we absolutely have the beginnings in the identification of a key reversal pattern, candlestick pattern. It's almost an engulfing bullish. We do open below the close of yesterday's market, but we close just below the open of yesterday's market, and that's why it's not completely engulfing. In fact, let's go ahead and blow that up a little bit so you can get a better idea of what we're looking at. But nonetheless, it's an extremely strong one-day pattern. And as I said, you can see that right here when you look at it. It's almost equal, but it is at least an overgrown piercing line, if not in a engulfing bullish. So what are we waiting for? Well, in essence, what we always look for on any kind of a short-term 2-day bullish pattern, we look for confirmation. And confirmation on this particular candle type has got to be a green candle, meaning that tomorrow's trading activity, Friday, needs to open and then close higher. We want to see a higher high on the day. We also want to see a higher low. If those conditions are met, that would absolutely trigger a buy signal and also trigger the potential conclusion to this correction that we have been weathering ever since the market hit these highs up at around 1377. So how does this most recent move in terms of perspective, where do we think this market could go if in fact we do trigger a buy tomorrow or later on today? Well, our count has been something like this. We have been looking at a wave 1, then a wave 2. That carried us really to the beginning of June. That started our long impulse wave up. That's what I believe we are currently in. Now, on that impulse wave, my count is that I believe we've seen waves 1, waves 2, we've seen a 3 of 3, a 4 of 3, and now we're going for our 5th. And as I said, I believe that this wave will, first of all, it's the 5th wave, so it's certainly going to take us above 1371. My target on this trade, should it actually unfold with a confirmation tomorrow, is roughly $1,400 per ounce. So traders, absolutely no doubt, nice upside move in gold. We're seeing the same thing in silver. Silver up about 2%. Now, if you recall from yesterday's show, we were looking at, on a weekly chart, which is obviously a much more long-term chart, but the identification of this 3-river evening star. However, we can see that this market has come up considerably from the lows that we achieved midweek. And now what we want to see is what kind of follow through we get tomorrow, because if we get a strong move tomorrow, this pattern that we identified on a weekly chart, of course, will unfold and really kind of deteriorate, so to speak. And then when we look at silver through the eyes of a daily chart, we get a very similar pattern to the pattern that we have identified in gold, which is that engulfing bullish piercing line that we've talked about on many occasions. This is a much more pure piercing line. And then once again, even for silver, Even if we get bullish on silver and that pattern is negated, we still need to see our confirming candle on tomorrow's daily candle. That's when we'll actually trigger buy signals. We'll send out a special trade alert to that effect. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you, as always, good trading. We'll talk to you tomorrow for the weekly wrap-up and review. Bye-bye.